'Cause if you're going, I know the way there, it's closer to the sun. There's people dancing, familiar faces where we all belong. I'll take these words you've given me, God rest your soul. They build me up when I am down and all alone. But I don't like the way you left before you washed the sea salt off yourself. You just left lust standing in the sand. 'Cause I said I would wait for you, 'cause it's the least that I could do. But you were gone, and there's nothing left to say. Yes, you always were that way. You always were that way. I'll take these words you've given me, God rest your soul. They build me up when I am down and alone. But I don't like the way you left before you washed the sea salt off yourself. You just left lusting in the sand, lusting in the sand, lusting in the sand, lusting in the sand. Standing in. I'll take these words you've given me, God rest your soul. They build me up when I am down and alone. But I don't like the way you left before you washed the sea salt off yourself. You just left lusting in the sand, 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 standing. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Dustin Prinz. I am here with JamPlay.com. I am grateful that they asked me to come on and play some of my tunes for you guys live. So, yes, I am actually grabbing my face right now and squeezing it at this very moment. It's kind of awkward, but so I'm going to play tunes off of my entire discography. That was a tune called Snow Day. It's off of my latest record entitled 11. So I'm excited to share my music with you. Won't be any cover songs today, just strictly original. And then, I'm out of breath from singing that. You guys can feel free to send questions in, anything. Like ask me questions about gear and songs or anything. So after a 45-minute set, what I'm going to do is probably go through my gear for about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to go over a broad spectrum analysis of my JamPlay lessons here. I've got this series called Parapicking for Knuckleheads. And I'm just going to go through a brief explanation of all the videos that are in that series. I think there's like 26 some videos or something. So, but yeah, it's an honor for me to be here. I've been doing this singer-songwriter thing now. You know, it's my life, and I've been doing it for probably three 3 or 4 years. I travel, play music, and I hope you guys sincerely enjoy what I do. And I think that covers me. I guess parapicking is kind of what I dub this style that I play in. I play the acoustic guitar as if it were electric. I'm not entirely a clean player. That's kind of the point. But parapicking is kind of the concept of percussion while using a pick. Okay, so I got the idea from paradiddles, like 1 2 1 1 2 1 2 2 1 2 1 1 2 1 2 2, and I try to incorporate rhythms within appreciated passages of chord progressions, or keep a quarter note beat or a 4 to the floor beat while I'm doing a solo, like in the solos that I just played in the previous song called Snow Day. I feel like it keeps backbone, it keeps drive to the songs, and I started rolling with that idea when in 2009 when I cut my first record, and there was percussion and stuff on it, and I was like, how in the world am I gonna fill these songs out? Because if I'm just strumming chords, it's not quite the same, especially with the solos. There isn't that beat, because we all intuitively kind of want that beat during a lead line, and usually if you just go into a lead without that beat, it kind of loses you. And so this next song that I'm about to do is a song called Bipolar. It's about the use and the abuse of pharmaceuticals, the ups and downs of bipolar depression, and this is meant to be funny. This is me making fun of myself. I don't entirely like labels, and I've been labeled bipolar in the past, so I was like, screw you guys for labeling me. I'm just gonna write a song about it. So check 1 2. Check 1 2 peoples. Hello. Give me some extra guitar love here on my. There we go. All right. So this is bipolar. 1 2 3. Makuba. I wish I had more serotonin in my brain, then maybe I'd feel less insane from time to time. When I feel like things begin to level out and I'm happy with myself, it drops on a dime. Bipolar, 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 bipolar. I'm waiting to crash cause once I'm on the up and I'm dropping fast. Bipolar, 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 bipolar. I'm waiting to crash cause once I'm on the up and I'm dropping fast. I've gone to the doctor, I've taken medication, but it makes me feel so much worse. Instead of just my problems, I get all these other problems, cause the symptoms of the drugs are a curse. Bipolar, 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 bipolar. I'm waiting to crash cause once I'm on the up and I'm dropping fast. Bipolar, 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 bipolar. I'm waiting to crash cause once I'm on the up and I'm dropping fast. It don't able to do it don't able to do it don't able to do it don't able to do. Side effects may include and are not limited to feeling even shitted before you took the medication, constipation, diarrhea, nausea, nosebleed, brain hemorrhaging, loss of vision, sedation, loss of libido, anxiety, agitation, weight gain, and urinary retention, abdominal pain, and death. Please see your doctor or any physician before you decide to start your death sentence. Thank you. It don't able to do that, 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 don't able to do that, but it don't able to do that. Whew. I'm in Colorado right now. I'm not gonna tell you the exact location where I'm at. But the one thing that I do notice is that I'm running out of air because of the elevation, people. I ran yesterday up in the mountains in Livermore, and I normally run like 5 miles. And I think I ran like 1.5 miles, and I was like, dude, something's awfully wrong here. I think I lost one of my lungs or something. And then I realized, Dustin, You're running in the mountains, bro. Okay, forgive yourself. And so I gave myself a nice little pat on my back, and I said, okay, I'm just going to strengthen these lungs up a little bit. So I don't know where I'm rolling with that, but yeah, guys, that was called Bipolar. That's on my first record. And there's probably reverb on my voice right now, so it sounds like I'm in the back of a cave, but that's okay. We're going to go with it. All right. This next one is a tune called Let Her Go. When you're a traveling musician, you're lucky if you're fortunate enough to have friends and family that take you in. That's a pretty cool thing. But the thing is you have to get really MacGyverish. That's not a word, but you have to figure out situations that you can record in, like rooms. And sometimes if you're staying at an apartment, for instance, it's not exactly the most suitable of situations to record because you're going to be disturbing your neighbors. And while I was in Oklahoma a while back, I wanted to record this song for my first record. And I didn't have the luxury of a microphone booth, of a vocal booth to sing in. And so I went into the garage and I was like, Jeremy, which is my brother, I was like, can I use your car as a vocal booth? So I set up some microphones, or actually I just held the microphones in the back seat of his car, and I sang the vocals for this song and tracked this song in the back seat of a Mustang, a Ford Mustang. So if you can imagine how small the back seat is. So it's called Let Her Go. Na 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 na. The thought of never loving you, the thought of never being true, well, it killed my soul. The thought of never loving you, thought of never being true, well, it killed my soul. Well, it killed my soul. If you don't love her, then leave her, there's no time to kill. You're making her hold on until you know what to feel. You know the answer, so speak and be fulfilled. Hurts to let go, but once it's gone, you might sit still. Hey, let her go. She's better off being alone. Hey, let her go. She's better off being. Every word I kept from you, my whole world was falling through, and it killed my soul. Feelings were insincere, confounded by all my fear, and it killed my soul, and it killed my soul. If you don't love her, then leave her, there's no time to kill. You're making her hold on until you know what to feel. You know the answer, so speak and be fulfilled. Hurts to let go, but once it's gone, you might sit still. Hey, let her go. She's better off being alone. Hey, let her go. She's better off being. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. It hurts so bad when someone loves you like that. you just don't love them back. It hurts so bad when someone loves you like that, you just can't love them back. It hurts so bad when someone loves you like that, you just don't love them back. It hurts so bad when someone loves you like that, you just don't love them back. Yeah, you let her go, she's better off being. Yeah, you let her go, she's better off being alone. Yeah, you let her go, she's better off being alone. She's better off being alone. All right, that was called Let Her Go. I'll just simulate you guys. I hope you're enjoying it. And because all I got to look at is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cameras. There's like a shotgun microphone that's like slightly above my head. It's like, hey bro, we're micing you and we're viewing you. But yeah. So, you guys want another song? Is that cool? Well, yes. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions? If you do, don't let your light shine. You know what I mean? Take your hat off. Let your head shine. Light forms. I don't even know where I'm talking. See, you don't have to worry about saying something stupid because that's what I do. I pride myself in just talking, saying whatever. It's okay. This one's called media. Let's see here. I'm gonna switch my settings down here. All right. 1 second. 44, 17. I've got some female vocals sampled to my RC300 loop station down here. I still have my balls, so I'm not going to be singing that particular part. I probably shouldn't have said that, but I'm not going to apologize for it either. So here we go. This is called Media. This is about how the television turns our brains into mashed potatoes if we let it. And I think I'm halfway there. All right, here we go. Media. You know, the beauty of live is that you get what you get because it's live. I forgot to tune my guitar. There we go. Media. We're shown less than half what is known. News fabricated, propagated, all vying for control. There's really no way to know what's the truth or if it's just another cover-up. Tick tock, your mind is made up on the spot. It's just a matter of time before we're all inclined to buy into the headlines. It's tick tock, your mind is made up on the spot. It's just a matter of time before we're all inclined to buy into the advertisement. Media. Yeah, you're listening to the media. While they're feeding you the media. Yeah, they'll let you know the media. They be what they want you to. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. We think we make our own decisions. Our choices are limited to what we've been given. They feel it's safer the less we know. Well, it'll keep the sheep in the herd for another show. Media. Yeah, you're listening to the media. straight from the heart, straight from the heart, straight from the heart. While they make it sound straight from the heart. Make it sound straight, straight, straight from the heart. Enough to have you from the start. Well, they make it sound straight, straight, straight from the heart. They make it sound straight, straight, straight from the heart. Enough to have you from the start. Well, they make it sound straight, straight, straight from the heart. Make it sound straight, straight, straight from the heart. Enough to have you from the start. Well, they make it sound straight, straight, straight from the heart. They make it sound straight, straight, straight from the heart. Enough to have you from the start. Well, they make it sound straight, straight, straight from the heart. Media, media, media. Yeah, you're listening to the media, media, media. Well, they're feeding you the media, media, media. Yeah, they'll let you know the media, media, media. Could be what they want you to. All right, that was called Media. That was on my second record. The second record is entitled Drugs. Yeah. Pretty clever, I suppose. But yeah, if you guys are just tuning in, thanks for being here with us. This is a live event, which means everything that's happening, all the stumbles, all me mumbling, it's happening right now. Yes. This is not pre-recorded. But yeah, my name's Dustin Prinz. I'm going to be sharing with you guys original material for the next, I don't know, it's probably 30 minutes now. And then I'm going to go over some gear that I use, all these pedals, all this gadgetry, all these numbers. And then I'll be talking about the series that I have here on JamPlay. It's called Parapicking for Knuckleheads. Do you guys have some questions? Because if you do, I would love to see if I can answer them.
Yeah, Dustin, we have a question.
There's a question here.
From John R.
John R.
And he asks, how long do you play each day? And do you ever get carpal tunnel? If so, what do you do? Because that's what I'm experiencing.
Yes. Nowadays, most of my time is consumed by traveling. But every chance that I get, man, I've got my guitar on me. So I would say with gigs, on average, I'm still probably playing like 4 to 5 hours a day. Now, several years back, before I started touring full time, I was noodling for probably around 8 hours a day. Like I've never been the kind of guitarist that just sits down and slaves away on scales or anything like that. I don't know any music theory at all, and I don't claim to, be a guitarist. I just consider myself a singer-songwriter. But what I'm saying is, probably when I was at my top, it was like 8 hours a day. I don't know if it was entirely focused, but no, the carpal tunnel thing. I actually experienced a lot of issues as well. I don't anymore because I stretch. I stretch a lot before I play or before I rehearse. You can do different exercises like so, like whatever, just different angles like that, switch around. I always do my fretting hand more so than my right hand because for some reason I have a tendency to almost do a 90-degree angle with my wrist, which I don't know if that's proper technique, but I'm almost entirely self-taught. I mean, I took lessons for a couple months, and so I just play the way that I play. So what I would say is stretch before you play, man. If it's really hurting you, then you might have to adjust your technique a little bit. I notice personally is when I'm doing bar chords and stuff, that's when it tends to haunt me a little bit if I'm pressing too hard. Also might look into your guitar. Maybe your action is incredibly high, so you're having to push the strings that harder to fret them, and so maybe adjust your action, lower it. And I hope that answered your question, man. I'm kind of a rambler.
Yeah, we've got another one here, Dustin.
All right.
This one is from Stephanie.
Stephanie?
And she asks, how do you come up with ideas for your songs?
How do I come up with ideas for my songs? Let's see here. A lot of the times, Do any of you guys watch Netflix? um, anywhere, books, books that inspire me. Like if I'm reading and I happen to, or if it's a Rolling Stone and I'm reading about some other musician and there's like a phrase or something that they say, or I'm watching Netflix. Like I said, like one of my newest songs on my EP, it's called Mr. Twiddle Thumbs. And the very first verse of the song was inspired by this documentary about the particle accelerator in Switzerland. It's like a 17-mile circle underneath the Earth's surface, and it shoots particles in opposing directions, and they collide, and it creates whatever new molecules. But so that inspired the lyric to the first song, and then I was out playing in Nevada, tomato. Um, and there were these three individuals that were, these drunks, and they were just screaming, all kinds of stuff at me up at the stage, and they inspired me. I wrote a song about douchebags, but that's probably inappropriate. But they inspired the rest of the song, about these hecklers. I should have said that instead of the DB. But yeah, take it from everywhere. Take inspiration from your friends, your family. I email myself probably about 100 times a day. I open up my Gmail account at night, and it's like me. Just ideas that I get. People probably used to hold a notepad in their back pocket, but I do voice to text, email, paragraphs of rambling nonsense, and then you put it all together, and you get a song, hopefully.
Very cool. This is sort of a related question
Okay.
from Buffy.
Buffy. What's up, Buffy?
Buffy says, asks, how do you work on your lyrics specifically, like, and maybe piggybacking off of the last question, like, how do you develop some of those ideas that you get?
A way for me to develop them is not to force them. I let. Sometimes I finish a verse and a chorus, just lyrically, and then I have no idea where to go with it, and so I live. You let it go. You put it on the back burner, and you experience life a little bit. And I swear to God, if your intentions are true to the song, you're going to experience something, or I've at least managed to experience something in life that's taught me the lesson that I needed to learn to fill that gap in that song. So I just kind of let life and friends and family and everything write a lot of the material for me. I feel like if you have a song in the back of your mind and you have almost all of it finished, but it's just sitting in the back there, and you're recording. I mean, we're constantly recording everything. Right now, I'm making memories. You're making memories. All of this is when the time is right, it's going to fill the gap for that song for you. You just got to be conscious of it and aware. Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a song in and of itself right there.
All right.
I think that's all the questions we got right now.
Okay.
So if you want to play another song, that'd be great.
Cool. I'm going to play. Do they hear you when you're talking back, Chris?
Yes.
Or is that, okay.
Yes, they're hearing me.
Okay, because I'm like, am I just hearing you in my headpiece or in my big dome cans? Okay, this is all new to me, people. This is my first time here at JamPlay doing a live event, so this is awesome. Thanks for having me.
And real quick, before you do play another song,
Yeah.
and sounds great, by the way.
Thank you.
Just to kind of expand on that last question a little bit, could you talk a little bit how you come up with your melodies?
Mumbles. Yeah, that's a lot of the times the riffage that comes first, and then I record it, get the foundation laid out, and then I play it back. Yeah, I separate myself from it, because if you're trying to play a riff that you just came up with, a lot of your attention, a lot of your mind juice is focusing on that, and so it takes away a lot of your creativity because you're having to focus on something. So I record it. I just get it out there and I play it back, and then I mumble and I go and just be. I guess the key is to have fun. So I do that and just kind of experiment with tons of different melodies. If I happen to get something that I like, then I record that. If you do that for 15 or 20 minutes, you're going to have a handful of different, different shifts with notes and stuff. And then you look at it and you go, okay, well, statistically speaking, I have 30 different melodies recorded now. There's at least got to be one of them that doesn't suck. And so you pick that one and you go with it, and then you put some words over the top of it. If you want to sing about tennis shoes, then a good friend of mine, Justin, taught me that just sing about whatever comes to mind first. Just have fun with it. Make the goofiest lyrics over the top, okay? And that helps to create the melody. And then if you want to swap those lyrics out later, you can, but you don't have to feel so pressured to come up with something amazing right on the spot, because that's going to cock block your creativity, for lack of a better term. So just have fun with it. Come up with weird, crazy words. If it's a serious song, who cares? Still come up with weird, crazy words. It's going to help you to create the melody and the lyrics, and then fill in the gaps, replace the words later on. Sometimes it takes me months to finish a song, and that's okay. The longer it takes you to finish a song, the closer it is to you, the more it is you, because it's been hanging out with you for a few years maybe, so it's all you. Yeah. Another song here. For this one's called You'll Answer When She Calls. I'm going to use my loop pedal down here. Like I said, it's an RC300. I'm going to use it to actually do loopy-loopies, which means I'm going to play a part, press record, it's going to play back. And yeah, here we go. I'm going to set the buttons up really quick. 41, 21. Let's see here. Got some xylophone samples. So, all right, here we go, peoples. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's safe to say it's best we went on to separate ways. Though it broke my heart, it felt forced from the start. Even though we know it's wrong, we go miles and miles and miles and miles, too scared to change who we've become. We go miles and miles and miles and You'd ask and I'd pretend that I had something left in me to give, but I knew it would break your heart if I let this out. Even though we know it's wrong, we go miles and miles and miles and miles, too scared to change who You'll answer when she calls. You'll answer when she calls. All right, guys. Yeah, questions.
All right. Let's see. We have a question from Tim here.
Tim.
And Tim asks, how many songs do you have working at any given time, and how many of them never get finished?
Let's see here. That's actually a really good question. Hundreds. Hundreds working. Just different ideas, I guess. Tons of recordings. What happens with my cell phones, which is kind of funny, is I usually end up having so many tidbits recorded to them that they start running like crap. The same goes for my laptops. I just have like gigs of information on GarageBand, and a lot of it's just ideas. So I would say don't, don't limit yourself. Just any idea, just lay it down, because it could end up being, something beautiful later. So hundreds of ideas. Of all of the hundreds of ideas, probably about 4 or 5% actually end up turning it into songs. But you just grab in any direction, from any riff that you've got going on. You might be able to, tune it down for it to fit the latest song you're working on. So yeah, I think that answered it.
All right. And here's another one from Tim.
Okay.
Do you avoid doing cover tunes in order to keep your own ideas fresh?
No, dude. I guess I'll promote myself here on YouTube. If you find me on YouTube, man, I started doing a ton of cover material, and I'm right at this point in my career. I'm definitely leaning more towards original, because I love the artistry of of the whole experience, and doing my own thing. But I feel like that's where you find a lot of inspiration, man. Is by learning riffs from other people. Like I'm gonna go back to this one of my newer songs on my new EP. It's called, like I said, Mr. Twiddle Thumbs, and the guitar riffage on that song, it was influenced by Rory Gallagher, and he did the whole blues rock kind of thing. And I was listening to a lot of Rory Gallagher in 60s and 70s psychedelic rock, and learning some of those riffs, and that inspired kind of my own thing. So yeah, dude, don't really question anything that you're doing. As far as I'm concerned, at least when you're in the writing process, just go with your gut, go with your intuition.
All right. And we have a question from Chris here.
All right.
He wants to know about your looper pedal. Can you go over your loop pedal and show us how you use it?
Yes, I'm actually going to do that here. Should I do that now, or should I wait to go over it? Because we're going to do that in a little bit. After I'm done performing all my songs, I'm actually going to go through my entire gear rig for like 15 minutes and explain to you guys the gear that I use, everything down to the strings and the routing on my mixer and my board and everything, with the excessive amount of freaking microphones up here. I'm going to actually explain to you what all of them are doing. So stick around for that.
Well, great. Well, I think that's the questions we have for now. So if you want to do another tune, that'd be great.
Cool. I'm going to tune my guitar up really quick here. I haven't played this one in a while, so we'll see how it goes. But I suppose that's the beauty of live, as you guys are going to catch it all raw, if it be. This one's called Missing Person, and I don't like the way that the tone of this sounds yet, so give me one bit to tune it. Missing Person, it's on this was on my first record, entitled Learning to Love Yourself, and when I originally recorded this, I used Reason 3.0 software. I don't know if any of you guys out there are familiar with that in interwebs land. Okay, well, I appreciate you guys. I guess you guys are leaving comments on the looping, so that's cool. I'll explain how I get the sounds and the separation and the delay and everything. Each one of my songs has a different scene, which means I'm gonna leave you hanging. I'll explain it here in a little bit. Sorry. So this one's called Missing Person. Like I said, I haven't played it in a while. We'll see how it goes. I might stop literally halfway through it and just be like, bleh, next song, as Jack Black would put it. This is gotta remember it. I'm taking my time, so don't hold your breath. You can walk out of here with no regrets. I'm loving you, 'cause you're not loving me. Being with you is like a cigarette. Well, it burns me out till there's nothing left. All I'm left with is your awful scent. You're a missing person. When you lost it all, your feelings can't be bought. Missing person. Take your time and see what you truly want. Missing person. When you lost it all, your feelings can't be bought. Missing person. Taking my time, so don't hold your breath. You can walk out of here with no regrets. I'm loving you, 'cause you're not loving me. Being with you is like a cigarette. Well, it burns me out till there's nothing left. All I'm left with is your awful scent. You're a missing person. When you lost it all, your feelings can't be bought. Missing person. Take your time and see what you truly want. Missing person. When you lost it all, your feelings can't be bought. Missing person. Well, your words don't mean a thing. When you call, it's always the same routine. It's all about yourself and all your drugs. And I don't need to listen, 'cause I really don't give a. Okay, that was called Missing Person. I was hoping I wasn't gonna break a string on that one. It's like, just going bounce to the wall. I don't care where this is going. So all right, y'all. Give me a second tune. It's called the tune in the song, bro. Dude, bro. I suppose I'll do another one. If that's cool. Unless is there questions? Turn this off real quick.
Yeah, we do have one question real quick while you're.
All right, one question. Cool.
It's from Stephanie.
Stephanie?
Have you met any interesting people in your travels?
Let's see here. Interesting people in my travels. Yeah, on occasion, interesting people and interesting situations. One in particular was I won't say her last name. Her name was Lindsay, but she was a dancing fiend, and I ran into her at the White Horse venue in Austin. And this is more kind of an experience and not necessarily an interesting people thing, but I don't dance at all. I'm absolutely terrified of it. All I can do is just like headbang because I'm like a 90s alternative kind of guy. But this was just an experience. I ran into this chick. I was standing alongside the dance floor, and she forced me, just ran up to me and forced me out there, and I nearly started bawling because I was absolutely so terrified. And there's been a few experiences like that where when I'm traveling out and I'm constantly around new people all the time, you get thrown into situations that you're incredibly uncomfortable with, and you got to go with it. So another one is hecklers sometimes as well. So those are always interesting situations. But yeah, I don't think I answered your question. So this is good. rolling. But yeah. So we good for next song? All right. Oh, another question. Yes. Shoot.
All right, got it here. Just 1 second. All right, this is from Bergie. Do you have any artists that you would consider as a major inspiration for yourself?
Yes. Just off the top of my head, Beck. I was so excited when he actually won a Grammy. He wholeheartedly deserves it. He's been an artist ever since he first started, releasing records. Him, and then Tom York from Radiohead. He released a solo record called The Eraser way back. I think it was around 2006 or something. But it influenced me to completely shift gears with my life. Music influences me. I attach it. I think all of us do. We attach certain songs or certain artists to experiences that we have in our life. But that record changed me so much that I got the artwork on my arm to remind me of the light bulb moment that I had while I was listening to a particular song off that record. It's called Black Swan on the Eraser by Tom York. But yeah, he's a huge influence. Here's one that goes way back. Travis Meeks from Days of the New. I don't know if you guys remember that group, but I absolutely loved his playing style. He used a pick, and he played the acoustic like a total badass. Like he played it like, as far as I was concerned at the time, he played it like it was an electric. He was great at lead lines and stuff, and so that influenced me when I was like, I think I was like 14 or 15 years old, and when I first heard, it was the record with like Touch, Peel, and Stand, and that on it, and then I heard Enemy and stuff. I was like, oh, awesome. Metallica is another huge influence. Blink 182. It's random ones, not necessarily acoustic players. I don't listen to all that much singer-songwriter stuff. Not really into it. I'm into rock, alternative, and yeah, the weirdness.
Okay. And we have a very serious question from Gary here.
Very serious question.
Gary wants to know, do you spend a lot of your time convincing people that you're not a pirate?
Dude, yeah. If I were to let my hair down, it would be like 10 times as difficult to try to convince them I'm not. So, and I do that on occasion. I let my hair down when I'm playing live, and I think it creeps people out. But yeah. I'm gonna probably start wearing an eye patch now. Thank you for the idea.
All right, that's all the questions we have right now.
All right.
Let's do another song.
Another song. I'm gonna go slow-mo Jones mode on you because I kind of feel like I've been pretty balls to the wall, haven't I? It's been a little bit of animation here, so I do take myself, serious on occasion. This one's called "Delivered in Tears." This is a song that's on my latest full-length record, 11, and I'm gonna see if I can make my guitar work. Check 1 2. Check. How is it on sound? Is that one good, man? One of the Chris's sounds good. All right. A beautiful soul in a broken shell. Recycled hopes feeling every cell. Losing time through another drink to separate yourself from the feelings. Fill your heart full of love, 'cause there's more than enough in this world. The only pain left in change is resistance that you've made out of fear, delivered in tears. You back yourself into a tight place when you refuse to see any other ways. 1,000 doors are opening. Every moment you wake, every moment you dream. So fill your heart full of love, 'cause there's more than enough in this world. The only pain left in change is resistance that you've made out of fear, delivered in tears. So lay those thoughts to rest by getting them off your chest. Leave that troubled mind behind. So lay those thoughts to rest by getting them off your chest. Leave that troubled mind behind. And fill your heart full of love, 'cause there's more than enough in this world. The only pain left in change is resistance that you've made out of fear, delivered in tears. Thank you. That's called Delivered in Tears, people. Alrighty. I kind of drifted off a little bit during that one. Hopefully I didn't put you to sleep. So, yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying, us. This is JamPlay.com. We're doing a live event if you just tuned in. My name's Dustin Prinz, but thanks for being here, y'all. I've been sharing my original music. We're about to go through an explanation as far as my gear, and then I'm going to talk about my series, which is Parapicking for Knuckleheads. That's available on JamPlay.com. All right, more questions. All right, we're gonna answer a few questions here really quick before we get rolling into the next song.
All right. Here we have a question from Bergie. Was guitar, percussion, drumming while picking something that came easy to you, or was there some songs that you used to try and figure it out?
No, I really don't feel like it necessarily did come easy. I just, I'm going to switch this effect really quick because right now I'm in a cave, like off of this hall verb. No, it definitely, I finished a record and there was, like I said, there was at least sampled snare sounds and sampled kick drum sounds. And so I was like, I need to figure out how to, implement that into my live show. And it was just something like it wasn't something that I felt like I needed to focus on 24/7 to the point where I couldn't play live until I got this, technique under my fingers. I just slowly started letting it ease its way into one song, two songs, three songs, and I was continually out playing whatever shows that I could do. And in 2009, I was doing open mics, I was doing all kinds of stuff, and it just kind of, it kind of creeps up on you when you just at least keep touching base on something. I never let technique rule what I'm doing. Like I've never focused on just waking up and just like practicing, like I said, scales all day or anything like that, because I'm sorry, but that's ego driven. I prefer to not take the ego driven approach to my music. I prefer to just be natural about it and do it more so for the fact of it, it heals people. Like the music that I listen to, I feel like it's more of a healing process instead of, hey, look at me flash dance with these little MC Hammer pants on. It's not a show off session. So just yeah, if you have a technique that you love, yeah, practice. You have to practice, but I wouldn't let that take precedence over just playing music. Just have fun with music. Let everything else speak for itself.
Okay, here's a question from Ken. Ken would like to know, do you do much with alternate tunings?
Let's see here. The sets that I've been playing lately, yeah, I'm pretty well. A lot of the songs are some of the songs are standard, and then I have some that are a step and a half down, and then when I'm also in standard, sometimes I tune the high B and the high E down as well, and I can't even tell you what tunings I used because, like I said earlier, I don't even know what I'm playing from a theory approach. I know G. I know I can name G, C, and D, and I hear the inversions and everything, but no. Other than that, man, I just float with my ears. I go, okay, yeah, let's make some mistakes here, and we'll float with it, and it'll turn into a new song. So.
All right, and Stephanie has another question.
All right.
Do you know how to play piano as well?
Very poorly. I'm an awful piano player, but I use it for ideas. A lot of the songs off my first CD actually weren't even written. I can't say a lot of them, but at least a quarter of them weren't even written on the guitar. They were written by me, one finger in, piano keys like this, because that's the standalone, man. I mean, that's what most, at least your general audience, they're gonna latch on to a melody. They're not gonna care what technique you're using or how fancy you are. At least people that aren't musicians, they latch onto a solid melody line. And sometimes the easiest way for me to come up with a melody is to just sit in front of my little MIDI controller with my laptop, and I'm running like either GarageBand or like Reason software, and you just kind of hum along. And since I can't play chords or anything on the piano, I just do like one note at a time until I come up with ideas. And there's no pressure for me to do it that way because I'm not a piano player. It's like if you pick up the guitar. Sometimes if you're like, I'm a guitarist, I should be able to come up with something good. And you're already putting yourself in a mindset you're putting pressure on yourself to create. So pick up an instrument that it's not your main instrument because it takes all the pressure off. So that's what I use the piano for. It's the instrument sometimes to write because it's no pressure. So, but I'm an awful piano player. Do you guys want a fast one or a slow one? All right, we're gonna do one huge fast one and then a slow one. This one's called Angry Breakup Song, and it's not even angry. It's honestly like a jolly breakup song. So I'm not entirely sure why I named it that, but.
Check 1, 2, chomping my gums, thank you.
There's no telling where you've been and I ain't settling for this. Now I'm not going down that road again. there's no telling where you've been or how many friends that you've let in. Well, I'm not going down that road again. Pack your bags and go, 'cause I'm not waiting on you, no. I could care less where you end up, just as long as you're as far the hell away from me. As far the hell away from me as you can be. How many times done wrong from right? I can't begin to count them up. Well, I'm not going down that road again. This should be simple, not tonight. Well, maybe just one last time. I guess we're going down that road again. Pack your bags and go, 'cause I'm not waiting on you, no. I could care less where you end up, just as long as you're as far the hell away from me. As far the hell away from me as you can be. Pack your bags and go, 'cause I'm not waiting on you, no. I could less where you end up, just as long as you're as far the hell away from me. As far the hell away from me as you can be. All right, that was that's called the Angry Breakup Song, people. Jolly breakup song. Okay, one more song, people, and then we're gonna do some questions here, and then yeah, talk about some gear. Let's see here. So we got like 5 minutes at least to do a song, because I might do an incredibly goofy one. Okay, this one's called You Plus Me Equals Drugs. It might be a total mess. I have not played it in a really long time, but we're gonna go with it and see how it feels. Okay, here we go. This incorporates some percussive playing. I'm gonna simulate a kick drum by using my elbow on the bass or on the body of the guitar. Tap a melody line, sing at the same time, use my thumb and my free fingers as some toms. So it's a hodgepodge of sorts, people. Okay, I'm not claiming to be some virtuoso here. It's just this takes place in a doctor's office. I'm gonna act like this is a WebMD magazine for you guys. Does this show up on camera all right? Okay, let's imagine there's a nice, beautiful mid-aged woman petting a sheepdog in a purple Lazy Boy recliner. Okay, and I'm sitting there waiting for the doctor to call me in. Okay.
Medical Miracles, Tina speaking. One moment.
Once upon a time, I found myself in a waiting room, waiting. As a man with moody tendencies, I wasn't happy being unhappy. So I doctor hopped for a few years. My results? Inconclusive. I was offered many solutions in the form of a laundry list of pills, but common sense and intuition told me there had to be alternative ways of nurturing my noggin.
Dustin Prinz? My name is Shirley Rude.
Hey, Shirley.
I'll be your nurse for the day. Dr. Pimple Popper will be with you shortly.
Thank you, Shirley.
If you just sit down here, I'll take your vitals.
Perfect. preamp is cutting out. Live. It's live, people. This thing might stop playing for us. We'll just see how it goes. You hear that? It's angry. Oh my gosh, dude, it's shredding out. Right, just wait. Hang in there, buddy. We got one song left, and then we're gonna do it for these people. Da 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 dum bum da 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 dum ba da dum bum da 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 dum ba da dum bum da 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 dum ba da dum bum da da da. We'll have you back in a few weeks for a follow-up to see if we should change the dosage or try something new to help you get on those 2 feet again. Side note, quite frankly, I don't have the time to diagnose the actual problem, so why not just avoid it altogether and try this tiny little pill instead? Here's the new drug that they push to promote. You're sipping it down with a glass of water straight down your throat, and when you've given up and you're then on your luck, they'll make another buck, they'll make another buck. Here's the new drug that they push to promote. You're sipping it down with a glass of water straight down your throat, and when you've given up and you're then on your luck, they'll make another buck, they'll make another buck. Consider taking a walk or making a change, taking a drug just ain't the way. Just because your good old doctor told you this could fix your day, you're the dollar sign. They're the salesperson funny that prescribe you drug for drug. It's all for the money, so relax. It's the facts. This industry's created more problems than we'd originally had. Because problems demand reinventing the same drug a million times to help with all the symptoms that eventually will arise. Here's the new drug that they push to promote. Sipping it down with a glass of water straight down your throat, and when you're giving up and you're then on your luck, they'll make another buck, they'll make another buck. Here's the new drug that they push to promote. You're sipping it down with a glass of water straight down your throat, and when you've given up and you're then on your luck, they'll make another buck, they'll make another buck. D-R-U-G-S, yes, that spells drugs. Drugs. D-R-U-G-S, yes, that spells drugs. Drugs. Drugs! Ching, ching! Here's the new drug that they push to promote. You're sipping it down with a glass of water straight down your throat, and when you're giving up and you're then on your luck, they'll make another buck, they'll make another buck.
All views expressed in this song are solely of Dustin Prinz's opinion. If he has offended any of you in any way, shape, or form, he does not apologize, but would recommend pulling the corn cob out your buttocks.
All right, thank you guys. That concludes those songs. All right, what's next? We're gonna go questions, okay.
All right, we got some questions here. Here's one from Joni.
Joni, okay.
How does one get over performance anxiety?
By being open about it, really. There's still shows that I look back on them and I'm like, oh my gosh, man, they haunt me because of how terribly anxious I was, all the way leading up to the show. And the way to get past it, for me at least, is to just like almost bring it to the audience's attention. Just be like, oh, I'm fretting up here, so let me loosen up a little bit. But that's kind of my personality. I'm naturally just kind of a goofy SOB, and so I find that when I just be myself entirely, and if I am feeling tension in my body, I'll shake it out. I'll do it while I'm on stage. I don't care if people are like, oh, he looks like he's nervous. Oh my gosh. Who cares? I am nervous. You'd be nervous as hell too if you were doing this. Everybody's nervous. Most people, I guess what inspires me is knowing that some of my idols admit to being nervous or throwing up before they get on stage, but you're gonna the more you do it, you find techniques that can help alleviate a lot of that problem, like breathing. A lot of the times we get so nervous that we forget to even breathe, or we'd have really shallow breathing. And I fortunately have not been breathing shallow while I got to Colorado, because the elevation I'm not used to it, and so I'm just like, as you can tell, I've been gasping for air like when I'm playing because I'm not used to it. But learn techniques, breathing exercises, all kinds of stuff can help alleviate tension. Meditating before you play, gets you in the zone.
Going for a light jog, going jogging.
As the anchorman himself would say. So, okay, I think that's cool.
All right, and we got one from Stephanie.
Stephanie?
Did someone teach you how to play the guitar, or were you self-taught?
There's a gentleman. There's like two Chris's in this JamPlay session right now. Well, my guitar teacher was also named Chris, and I think it was probably around a few months of guitar lessons from him, and it was never from an approach of learning theory. He showed up, and he was amazing at playing the electric guitar. He showed up playing monster riffs from Metallica and stuff, and I was just like, oh my gosh, dude, show me how to play that riff. And so we would sit there, and that's what the lessons were. He would just show me how to play songs, and so I guess I was taught from the approach of just have fun with it, and that's probably why I stuck with it, because it wasn't like, hey, you need to learn what you're doing when you pick up this instrument. Like, honestly, the way that I look at this thing right now is almost similar to the way that I looked at it 16 years ago, where I looked at it and I didn't know what the hell, I didn't even know what notes were or anything. A lot of that magic is still there because I don't know any theory. I don't know, how to connect scales and all the other stuff. I guess I do on an intuitive level, with the ears and everything. But I feel like that's kind of what excites me about it, because I never know what I'm going to stumble on when I'm writing a song, because there is absolutely no education, like no textbook equation that I'm using to do it. So, but that works for some people as well. I'm not saying that isn't an approach. You have to literally listen to yourself and see where your strings are pulling you. See what direction. So. Cool. Okay.
All right, we have a question that's going to be kind of tied into you talking about some of your gear here.
Cool.
That's from Emilio.
All right.
And the question is, what sort of mic DI setups do you use to bring out the percussion?
What's actually cool about that's a good question, man. I don't buy anything. There isn't any custom preamp or anything in this. This is just the preamp that comes standard with this guitar. This is a Cort NDX50, relatively inexpensive guitar, but sounds amazing. I love the way that it sounds. I love the way that it plays. It's a great road guitar for me. They come standard with this Fishman Pressey's blend, and so I've got bass, mid, treble. I also have a phase, and then I've got a notch filter. There's a pickup that's underneath the bridge, piezo, however you pronounce. I never knew how to pronounce that shit, but so that's stationed under here, and then there's, as you can see, maybe you can't see, but whatever. I popped this open, and there is a little microphone that is attached underneath the preamp. And so the combination of that little mic as well as this magnetic pickup underneath the bridge, that's all I've got inside the guitar that's picking up the percussion and everything else. I found that I personally didn't really need to complicate it any more than that, because I already have enough to worry about with this loop station and all the settings on this mixer. So I originally didn't start off as much of a gear guy, but then this stuff kind of just added up, and now all of a sudden it's like I feel like I'm eating microphones all day. So I guess that kind of is going to segue us into I'm going to talk about the rest of my gear. So all the way down to the tuner, I got myself a little, I think, a tuner that you hook on the headstock to sense the vibration, which is cool. Strings that I'm using, I have some, let's see here, what strings am I using? I'll get back to those. But like I said, Cort NDX50, Fishman preamps. Down here, can we lean down to, is that possible for us to lean down to the floor? Awesome, possum, bro. I'm gonna disconnect this guitar. I'm going to take this microphone off as well so I can talk through it. Or yeah, because that other microphone, the other mic, it probably isn't on. You got me on that one. Sweet. Okay. So what we got? Can I get this one in my cans though, dude? Because I can't hear myself through the. Or I could, yeah. So what we got down here is a Persona 1602 digital mixer. Perfect. I just got the sound in my headphones. Thank you. And this is my main microphone. So this microphone with the blue cable up here is connected to channel 1. Channel 2 is my auxiliary or my secondary microphone, which is an affected microphone. I use that for a radio sound or a multiple delay with a long haul reverb. Okay, channel 3, nothing. Channel 4 is my acoustic guitar that routes into here. First, I'll go into at least all the inputs that go into this board. Channel 5, nothing. Or channel 5 actually is this drum pad over here. I use that to sample xylophone samples. Sometimes I play 3-hour sets. And so I have a ton of original material as well as cover songs. Sometimes I sample drums off of here, so that goes directly into channel 5. Channel 6 is normally a bass guitar, and now we've 7, 8, and 9 inputs all come from this RC300 loop station. So we've got phrase 1, phrase 2, and track 3. So pretty well what this means is I can record ideas onto each one of these and turn them off or turn them on to create space within a song, like a chorus, a verse. Let's say there's a bridge that I can record to track 3. Track 1 goes into 7, like I said. Track 2 goes into 8. Track 3 goes into 9. Let's see, what else do we got? On channel 11 and 12, I have this microphone right here. This is the looped vocal microphone. The reason that I have 2 separate microphones on here is earlier some of you guys commented on how you liked the sound of my looping, and it's because the way that I have these microphones set up and stuff, I can EQ. Well, for instance, this microphone goes into the board. It goes into channel 11. I have a really tight gate set on this, so the volume going into it has to exceed a certain threshold before you even hear it, or before it even starts being recorded into the loop station. And so essentially what it's doing is it's blocking out crowd noise. All of this background ambient crap is not going to trigger that off. So it's so tight that I can be singing into this upper microphone and it's not picking up much of it until I actually directly talk into it. And then it starts, the signal actually starts going through. And so what else do I got routed here? That's pretty much all the inputs, okay? All the inputs go into there. And then we have auxiliary sends from the Persona 1602. I've got auxiliary send 1, which is right here. And this is specifically used for my acoustic guitar. It's also used for this drum pad. Okay, I have auxiliary 1 on those channels, and it sends it into the instrument input on this board, or on the RC300, sorry. Now, the vocal microphone, like I said, goes into channel 11. Auxiliary 2 from that board goes into the input on here, and so what it's doing is everything goes there first, so that way you have your main guitar, main vocal, you're hearing that all the time. The auxiliary sends are sending to this. The live output is muted on the Boss RC300. So all you hear is the looped playback from the RC300. Okay, so as far as how to use the loop pedal, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this to 21 here. I'll just simulate by actually doing a song, and I'll kind of explain it as I'm doing it. All right, I'm going to... Okay, cool. So to use this puppy, like I said, you've got 3 different phrases or 3 different tracks to work with, which is awesome. So I'll do here, I'm going to put a capo on and I'm just going to do a different melody for you guys so you can actually figure this out. 41, 21, 41, 21. I'm gonna switch my numbers on this thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play a part. I'm gonna hit the record button on track 1 at the same time. So. Put another layer on it. All right, so I laid down the rhythm there. I laid down an appreciated version of the same chord on track 2. Let's see here. I'm just gonna throw some bells and I'm gonna throw this xylophone sample onto track 3. All right. So now you have, you can work with any of those. You can turn that one back on. You can turn the appreciated one off. You can turn this rhythm off. And you can do that in the context of I'll stop. You can do that in the context of your song. So like if you're reaching up to a bridge point, you can just turn the xylophone on. What's cool about the RC300 is you also have effects that are built into it. You can have an output, or the output from track 3, which is the xylophone. You can have that go through a delay, and you can trigger it with the loop effects button up here. So let's say I'm playing this part, and I trigger the xylophone sample. I'm gonna hit the loop effects button, which is right above it. Delay. It's all stuff that you discover if you just dig through the manuals, really. So lots of reading, but it's fun. It's fun if you really want it to be. There's a ton of different memory sets on the Boss RC300 as well. I'm going to switch this mic again. So what you can do is you can save each one of those patches for each song. For instance, for that particular song, I had track 1, all the volumes are set to that song. Track 2, track 3 is also set to that. Track 3 I have set so it corresponds to the loop effects. So pretty much if I turn that delay on, it's only going to affect track number 3. It's going to affect the xylophone. Okay, it's not going to affect track number 2, because if I had that delay affecting all 3 of them, it would just be like everything would be going 8 balls on you. You wouldn't be able to decipher what the hell was going on. So that's all stuff that you can learn when you really get into your gear and just play around with it. You don't necessarily have to dive into a manual. I do on occasion if there's really a problem that I have, but a lot of the times it's just hands-on for me. I should also say with this Presonus over here, I'm not sure if I mentioned it earlier, but this thing also has memory sets on it. It's called memory on this as well, memory on that. But you can have a scene saved for each and every song if you want to, since it's digital, which means every one of those tracks, I can have the saved fader setting, saved equalization on each track, compression, high pass and low pass filters, and so each song that I play, sometimes it's like 41. I switch that to 41. I switch this pedal to 21, and those settings pretty much correspond to different EQ adjustments on each one of these tracks. So let's say I put a track number 1 is a backup guitar, and it goes into channel number 7 on the Presonus. What I'll do if it's supposed to be a looped backup guitar is I'll put a high pass on it, and I will also put a low pass on it. Kind of, cut the low end off, cut the high end down a little bit, and then about 4 or 5 decibels at 2,000 hertz, I'll dunk out kind of the pain frequency, are also where the vocals sit. And what that does is it helps it sit below your main vocal and your rhythm guitar. It fills it, or it fills that space, and it doesn't take away from the main rhythm and vocal passage. It's all about that equalization, compression, high pass, low pass, filtering. That's what gives you the separation between tracks, especially when a lot of the gigs that you'll be playing when you're out traveling. I've found at least that 95% of the time I'm playing through rigs that are all set to mono. So with a mono mix, you really have to figure out how to find that separation between all your tracks without the luxury of panning to far left, far right, or center. So that's what's awesome about the Presonus, in my opinion, or just any digital board in general, is that since it's digital, you can have settings on each channel. If it were analog, I would literally have to lean down between each song and like spin, high, mid, and low on each thing, and it would be a mess. But we have another question, I think.
Yeah, this question is from Tim.
Okay.
And Tim asks, are all your loops done in real time, or do you pre-record some of them? And why do you like the mixer on the floor?
I do a mix of like the "You'll Answer When She Calls," which I played for this session. Let's see here, the one that I just did. Those are all recorded live. The media that I played today during this session, that was pre-recorded. There's the female voice in there. I can't pull that off live unless I were to snip myself. And so that's inappropriate as hell. That stuff is all pre-recorded, called backing tracks, or samples essentially. I also can use this as a sampler, but I do some songs as well off of my latest record where I have sampled drum beats. I do cover songs also that I have samples loaded onto here, like 90s rap songs with some drum samples that come in. I don't try to just stick to doing everything with just a guitar and a vocal. I like to add in some of these other elements as well because it's fun. I enjoy it, and I feel like it makes for a better experience for everybody that's coming out for live music. So, alrighty. Any more questions? Are we good? Cool. Like I said, I guess we touched base on the Presonus. I think I covered that pretty thoroughly. Did I? If anybody has any more questions on that, just feel free to shoot away. Boss RC300, covered that pretty well. What I've got over here is called a Roland SPDX. It's a sampling pad. I'm gonna set this down for a sec. And so I can trigger. One sec. I can record different samples into this thing. Like I hooked a microphone into the back of it and sampled an old xylophone that I found at a music store in Oklahoma City, and sampled it into here. So that way I don't have to have yet another microphone, which would make 4 microphones, which would be excessive. So those samples from the xylophone are into here. I could also switch this up. Let's see here. New kit. I don't know if this is going to play through. See, way too loud. Sorry, that probably just blew your computer speakers out. But there's all kinds of stuff on here. Most of the time, you're going to see drummers using this. I happen to have this laying around because I used to play a lot of drums and stuff. So I like the idea of being able to do percussion for some of the cover songs that I play, as well as triggering samples. This is a mono output, a lot like all this other stuff that goes into channel 5 on the board. And then we have an auxiliary that sends that same signal right back into this Boss RC300. So I can record anything from this sampling pad to tracks 1, 2, or 3, which I can turn on and turn off for playback during any particular part of the song, bridge, chorus, or verse. So, okay, a couple more questions. Cool. Cool beans.
All right, we had multiple people ask about or ask if you could talk about your tunings a little bit more.
Okay. Tunings. This is kind of where you guys stump me by asking me something like that, because I don't. I'm gonna answer it to the best of my ability, but this is gonna prove that I don't know theory or anything. Um, I guess a handful of my songs are in standard tuning, so in standard you're just E A D G B E, and then I'm actually gonna put my tuner on the headstock so I can figure out what the actual tunings are for myself. I'm gonna learn a lesson today. Chris? Did you see where that headstock tuner went? I'm not sure where it went. Well, so I've got one song that's called I have a tuner built into my guitar, dude. What's up? Oh, it's on the guitar stand. Oh, cool. Yeah, this one is easier to calibrate. But so tunings. Let's see here. I've got a tune, like I said, Let Her Go. It's all in standard tuning except for the high E is tuned down to D. And I don't. It's like I just do this stuff, and I don't necessarily take note as to what the notes are tuned to, because like I said, a lot of it's just I do it by ear. And so you get that kind of vibe by tuning it. It's to D, or no, that's B actually, I guess. And the only reason I know that is because I'm looking at my tuner. It's telling me what note that open chord is. So standard tuning, high E string tuned down to D. So you tune it down a full step. What else do I do here as far as tunings go? I have my entire new EP, it's a 4-song EP. It's called Feeling It. It's not available yet. It's going to be available probably May 11th, I'm guessing. But all of those songs are tuned a step and a half down, and so I use 13 gauge strings on that, and it's still standard. It's just tuned way down. And I found that I have a baritone register, and so it's easier and it's more natural for me to sing with the guitar being tuned down for a lot of the progressions that I was working with. It gives me more room to just be natural about the delivery of the songs, and so that's a standard tuning, but tuned down a step and a half, like I said. Okay, I'm trying to. What's crazy, dude, is I'm like totally blank on totally running a blank on what strings I used. To be quite honest with you, I can't even remember the last last set that I put on here, because sometimes I just grab. Well, actually, Dean Markley. There we go. I wrote. See, I have to write notes down sometimes because I completely forget what I'm even using. I just have packages of stuff laying around. So these are Dean Markley Helix strings, and the reason that I essentially went with these strings, and I haven't really thought about it much since, is because they don't break. I play aggressively. If you haven't been able to pick that up. And these, of all the strings that I've dealt with, they seem to hold up. I can play the same set for at least a few shows instead of having to switch out some of the other brands that I won't mention. I had to switch them out during shows because I would break like a high E or the G string. The G string is a biatch. It always breaks all the time, but these don't. So they feel good. They're like, as far as I know, I think the reason that they feel better is because they're like compression wound, which means they compress the string, the outer coil. They compress it as they whatever twist it around the middle string, and so your sweat, your skin, everything, it doesn't build up as terribly on these strings. That's why they last longer and don't break. So Dean Markley Helix is what these puppies are. I couldn't remember.
Cool. Before we transition into talking about some parapicking, just real quick, Tim was wanting to know what the make and model on your sampler was, just real quick.
The make and model is he talking about this one or the RC?
Yeah, I think the sampler.
Okay, this is a Roland SPDX. Yeah, it's just called Roland SPDX sampling pad, and it's predominantly used by drummers. Drumsticks, but you can actually set these trigger pads to be more sensitive if you need them to be triggered by just your fingers and stuff. I just like being able to grab these sticks to trigger different samples, play kick drum, whatever. So yeah, Roland SPDX, Roland SPDSX sampling pad. Sorry. All right. So is that it?
That's all the questions we have right now.
Okay. Cool.
And talk a little bit about your JamPlay series, pair picking, and teach us how to do this stuff.
Let's see here. Hopefully I beat this thing so often that the preamps tend to shake themselves to death. So I've got a series on JamPlay.com. I think that's kind of why I'm here, which is cool. It's called Parapicking for Knuckleheads. The knucklehead was probably inspired by my father because he always used to call me a knucklehead, and he meant nothing but goodness from it. But so yeah, it's called Parapicking for Knuckleheads, and it's parapicking came from the idea of employing percussion with the use of a plectrum or the use of a pick, and so a lot of the phrases that I do. I like to keep a quarter note beat or a four to the floor beat behind rhythm passages, just like simple rhythm passages or appreciated passages. And I do that by you're down picking a note and you're using the outside of your thumb as well as the fat of your thumb and the outer palm to hit the strings. Sometimes what also happens is since I'm one of those guys that uses my pinky to anchor when I'm picking, and so naturally as this technique kind of progressed into my songs, that pinky sometimes hits my pick guard as well, which helps to create a low end kick drum sound too. So that's the concept of parapicking. In my series, how much time do I have on this part? Because I want to know like how much I should. What do I got? I've got about a half hour to talk about this. Awesome. So I really starting from step one. I go through. I'm stretching my legs. I go through warm-ups that I used back in the day. I don't focus as much on that anymore. I focus more on just writing songs and singing because I feel like this technique is kind of just become part of my style and the way that I play now, where I don't have to wake up and go over a warm up for an hour or whatever. But a coordination that I'll go over in the lessons is just a 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of fashion where you just play down your frets and then you play in reverse order and go at whatever speed you need to. It's vital. I mean, I wish someone would have told me earlier on to use a metronome, because I didn't for a long time. When I first started playing, I didn't even think to use a metronome. But I found that you'll excel with whatever technique you're trying to work on if you just have a metronome going, and you can go slow with it until you feel like you're comfortable with the technique. And so you can just play along to the metronome and do your 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way down the fretboard, reverse order. And then I got bored with it because I've always just had that headbanging beat, boom, 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 and so. So that's kind of where that idea of just keeping that drive, you got to keep that driving force during single note passages, man, even if it's a solo. I'll go thoroughly through how to coordinate that left and that right, and then coordinate the percussion into there simultaneously. There's a ton of different techniques that we'll use to refine that. But one of them is the para also came from the combination of picking and percussion, but also the idea of a paradiddle that a good friend of mine taught me back in the day, where you can like 1 2 1 1 2 1 2 2 1 2 1 1 2 1 2 2 as a drummer would play, and so I incorporated that into a lot of my warm up routine, just the same basic warm up of the 1 2 3 4, but I would 1 1 2 1 1 2 1 2 1 1 2 1 1 1 2 1 1 2 1 2 1 1 2 1, or doing 1 1 2 3 1 1 2 3 1 2 3 1, and by like 1 1 2 3 1 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 1 2 3 1, and by having that lead line, then percussion, but a paradiddle within that percussion. By doing those warm-ups, you're pretty much making separate pathways in your head. So you'll be able to play any rhythm passage or any lead passage and have a percussive rhythm intertwined with that. And you won't even have to think about it while you're doing it. It becomes natural after a while, is what, at least what I discovered by doing that number counting paradiddle system. Okay, what's the next thing that we're going to go over here? I've got a cheat sheet down here. I'm literally going to grab it, because if you can't tell, my mind goes a mile a minute. So let's see here. Next rule of events, people. We talked about parapicking. We talked about metronome basics. Yeah, one of the other things that's kind of, I feel is essential, is having a logbook. If you're a guitarist or a singer-songwriter, you want to keep track of at least what your daily goals were as far as what you hit with the metronome. If it's for a particular song, like if you're trying to speed that song up, you want it to get to like 120 BPM. Well, you don't just start playing it at 120 BPM, because it's going to sound like hodgepodge stew boo. And so what you do is you start off at like whatever. Let's say you're comfortable with like 30 BPM. Start incredibly slow, like aching, painfully slow, and get it under your fingers and speed it up. So let's say you hit your limit at like 60 BPM for the day. Log it down.
July 23rd, I hit 60 BPM on Hodgepodge Stew Song / Gravy Train.
You make note of it, so that way you can grow. The next week you'll exceed that. So that's something that we go over. Parapicking basics. I talk about how it's a. You can start off. You don't start off, or I at least don't start off with adding the percussion in. I guess a lot of the times I just come up with the melody line. And then you can add the muting in. Add percussion in. It's like 4 to the floor, balls to the wall. Yeah, another topic that I go over is how it's all about the melody. I think I said this earlier, actually, while I was playing, but your general audience doesn't really, they're not going to be all that concerned about what techniques you're using to play your music. They're not, unless they're musicians. Then musicians are always, at least I'm kind of analyzing some of that stuff, but your general audience, people that aren't musicians, which are pretty much a lot of the people that are going to be, at your gigs or out there, they latch onto a melody line, and so I kind of feel like it's all about the melody, which is one of the things that I go over. So before any technique, before any of that, just fish around for a melody line that speaks to you, with your rhythm or with your vocal, and. My guitar is slightly out of tune, I realize, but I'm. So that's a tune called "Let Her Go." I go through that rhythm. I break it down note for note for you, how to play that melody line, as well as how to add the percussion in after the fact. But you always got to do steps, or I at least do steps with things. So all about the melody. I go through more complex warm-up sessions that actually will help you to be able to play more difficult chord progressions. So one of them, I'm going to tune this up. One of them is called singles, doubles, triples warm-up, and it's based off of the basic warm-up. The 1, 2, 3, 4, except for we're string skipping. So we do the 1 on the E, A, D, G. Okay, you kind of fall out 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to get too detailed into this because this is all covered in the series, but that's your 1, 2, 3, 4, and you just roll down, roll back up all the way. And that's the single, and then you would do doubles really slow if you need to. Triples. And if you want to add percussion in, you hear that? My guitar is short now, baby. The beauty of beating the hell out of it. My apologies. So you can add percussion in on singles. You can add percussion in on doubles, which is two plucks per note or per string, and do the triples as well. It's been a while since I've played that puppy, let me tell you. But yeah, work at whatever pace that you need to. Like I said, using a metronome, and then by doing stuff like that, you can slowly start to incorporate this percussive stuff into difficult passages. Like this is one of my tunes. It's called Next Time You'll Know. I forgot what the name of it was. So with that, what I was doing is I was playing different rhythms, or just like full-on chords, and then I was doing single notes with tremolo picking or alternate picking. That the singles, doubles, triples exercise can help you with doing some serious string skipping, like a low E to my G there, while keeping percussion, followed by the single line lead. This is all string skipping. So that's yeah, that covers. I think that covers that particular section. We go through hammer-ons and pull-off basic, which is the basic warm-up, the 1, 2, 3, 4, except for you're just doing hammer-ons. That'll strengthen your left hand. It'll also, yeah, pretty much. That's pretty well the basic need for it. Is you can also determine if each finger is striking at the same volume before you even bring your right hand into it. Usually, what I used to do as well is I would do pull-offs on the way back up. Or and then you can add percussion. I'm going to set this down. You can add percussion in as well. You can tell that I haven't done pull-offs in a while. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. But I go through it thoroughly and in a clean fashion, and show you in great depth how to use that in some of these songs that I'll be playing in Picking for Knuckleheads. All right. So the next part is something that I've definitely incorporated into a lot of my songwriting. I didn't start off with being able to sing and play the guitar at the same time. It was actually incredibly challenging for me when I first started. I would start with songs like Nirvana. I remember Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit, playing that song. and even singing at the same time was incredibly challenging. And so that's at least in one aspect of the music thing. That's when I started trying to make roadmaps and analyze what was happening. I don't do it with much of anything else. I just kind of intuitively go with it. But one of the things that we'll cover in this series is how to sing and play at the same time to probably, I guess I would say, intermediate passages. But one of the techniques that I like to use even nowadays when I'm playing a passage that I feel like, Jesus, how am I going to sing to this? The first step is to get that riff under your fingers as well as you can. Like, you play it whenever you get a chance to. You know, if it's a new riff, watch TV while you're playing, talk to your parents and try to listen to them while you're playing. Don't ignore them. Don't focus on your guitar is what I'm saying while you're playing it. Try to distract yourself, but be playing at the same time. Get to that point where you can play a part. And then when you want to bring in a vocal line, I like to match syllables to notes. Like match the syllables of your words to, I'm going to go back to a riff that we're already very familiarized with, which is the Let Her Go riff. Like when I was first trying to put the vocal line to that, I was playing and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna throw this vocal idea over the top that I have. And then I started singing like a robot. The thought of never loving you. Na 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 na. I was matching syllables. The thought of never loving you. Like you can literally, it doesn't matter what the context of the music is, you'll be able to find where the down beats are in the song or when you're up picking. And you can match the syllables of the words you're using to the notes. Like thought of never loving you, the thought of never being true. And it doesn't have to sound good. That's not the point. You sound like crap if you need to. Be okay with sounding like total crap. All you're doing is just you're outlining the paths in your head. You know, you're building that coordination between singing and playing this, you know, a complex, arpeggiated part at the same time. And then it eventually will get to a point where it's second nature and you'll just be able to flow over the top of it. The thought of never loving you, the thought of never being true, well, it killed my soul. Another thing that I like to do is mumble and hum. So this is another technique that I use frequently, is if you're just noodling around on the guitar and doing your guitar solos and stuff, just vocalize during it as well. Just hum along to the melody. I started out doing that, and once again, my intention wasn't for that to be the finished product of a song. What you're doing is you're just making yourself comfortable with the idea of letting your voice speak while your fingers are doing the same thing. You're synchronizing your voice and your guitar playing. It's kind of the same concept as the 1, 2, 3, 4 warm up that we were using. So that's another technique, singing and playing at the same time. I go into great detail, and it's a bit more organized and easier to understand in my series than it is right now, because I'm trying to remember this stuff as I'm telling you. So I'm a little over the map, but adding flair to your songs is another topic that we will go over. And in a song of mine called Bipolar, I like to play off of the words and simulate the sounds of like a dime dropping by doing pick scrapes on the guitar, using my pick on the pick guard as a like a snare element, and playing closer to the bridge. You get that thin sound. If you play right over the sound hole, you obviously get a really warm sound. Another thing, depending on where you play, I always consider like mid or high, mid, and low. Sometimes I strum different sections of the strings. Like if you're just at a constant strum. just all, it seems like no-brainer things, when someone's showing you, but if you add some of those different things into the context of a song, it can, what I would say is, to quote Office Space, is you can add flair to your song and kind of help separate a bridge from a chorus just by doing different little elements, within the song. Adding backbone to a lead guitar is another subject that I'll go over. Doing like a simple lead line, like and then or so that's doing a quarter note beat to it or a 4 to the floor beat during a lead line to really 2 more performances. Okay, cool. So that was pretty much a run through of what the series is here with JamPlay, called Parapicking for Knuckleheads. I'm gonna do 2 more songs for you guys. Let's see here. What do we want to do? I'm gonna do one called Instrumental. Yeah, pretty clever. As you can guess, it's an instrumental. So here we go. I'm gonna tune this up. Get this out of my face. Here we go, baby.
Break a string, holy Jesus.
All right, that was called Instrumental. That's actually one of the songs that's on the series as well. If you tune into the Parapicking for Knuckleheads, I go through that song note for note and as well as how to add the different elements of percussion into it, as well as the pick hits on the pick guard. And I'm gonna do one more song for you guys, and then I think that pretty much concludes this live show. So thank you for joining us here on JamPlay.com. My name is Dustin Prinz, and yeah, thank you guys. I hope you've enjoyed the music. This one is actually a pretty chill tune. It's a favorite of mine though. This is called Chama. I've been swallowed whole and left for dead. Where are the pieces and why won't they fit? I've tried for so long, I'm sure I'll regret these burdens they've strung, this noose around my neck. 'Cause it seems I've lived my life choosing to be blind. Now I've got the rest of these years to open up my eyes. Day by day I'll fight. I'll choose my wrongs from rights. 'Cause failure's not in sight. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. 'Cause you're by my side. I must oversee my life or fall victim to it. Challenge my mind or in darkness I'll sit. Pray for what's right, it's the catalyst I bet. Good things come to those who work for it. Seems I've lived my life choosing to be blind. Now I've got the rest of these years to open up my eyes. Day by day I'll fight. I'll choose my wrongs from rights. Failure's not in sight. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. On a train outside of Chama. On a train outside of Chama. On a train outside of Chama, is when I realized. On a train outside of Chama, is when I realized. On a train outside of Chama, is when I realized this was my life. On a train outside of Chama is when I realized this was my life. Seems I've lived my life choosing to be blind. Now I've got the rest of these years to open up my eyes. Day by day I'll fight. I'll choose my wrongs from rights. Failure's not in sight. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. 'Cause you're by my side. 'Cause you're by my side. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. This was brought to you by JamPlay. My name is Dustin Prinz. Make sure to check out my series on JamPlay.com. It's called Parapicking for Knuckleheads. And yeah, thank you guys. Much love.